Imagine growing up with two fathers giving you just wildly different advice about money.
Right, it's like a perfect psychological setup.
It really is. One is a highly educated PhD, and he's telling you that the love of money is the root of all evil. But the other is an 8th grade dropout telling you that the lack of money is the root of all evil.
Two completely opposite views of the world.
Exactly. So, welcome to today's deep dive. We are taking a really fascinating journey into the fundamental financial programming that, most of us just inherit without even realizing it.
Yeah, we just absorb it.
Right. Our source material today is a comprehensive transcript of Robert Kiyosaki's renowned book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And our mission here is simple. We want to deconstruct the way you think about money, extract some profound mindset shifts, and give you the practical tools you need to stop working for money and start having money work for you.
And it really is a profound shift in perspective. To grasp it, we have to look at the foundation of how we learn about money in the first place, which is almost always at home.
Yeah, exactly.
You have this natural experiment in financial philosophy in the text. Two strong, charismatic men, both working really hard, both earning substantial incomes at times, actually, but they're dispensing completely contradictory advice to a young boy.
The contrasts are just wild to read. I mean, one dad is telling him to study hard to find a good company to work for. The other is saying, no, study hard so you can find a good company to buy.
Which really highlights that this isn't just about a difference in their bank balances, It is a profound difference in cognitive framing. It's about financial literacy, sure, but it starts with how they literally process reality.
How so?
Well, the author realizes early on that one dad is constantly putting his brain to sleep when it comes to finances, while the other is intentionally exercising his brain like a muscle.
Oh, right. Let's look at how that manifests with the power of language.
Right.
The highly educated dad, the poor dad, had this habit of saying, I can't afford it.
Yeah, just shutting it down.
Exactly. It's a statement. It closes the door. But the rich dad, the 8th grade dropout, absolutely forbade those words. He insisted the boys ask, how can we afford it?
Because, I can't afford it is a statement of defeat. It lets you off the hook. The second those words leave your mouth, your brain just powers down.
It takes the easy way out.
Right, but how can I afford it? That's a question. It forces the brain to search for solutions. The rich dad believed that automatically saying you can't afford something it's a sign of mental laziness.
He wasn't suggesting you should just go blindly buy everything you want, though.
No, not at all. He was just fanatical about exercising the mind to build financial strength.
And you really see this desperate desire to figure things out in this hilarious but, deeply revealing childhood anecdote from the
Well,
source.
the toothpaste tubes.
Yes. The author is 9 years old, and he and his friend Mike decide they are going to literally make money. So they run around the neighborhood collecting used lead toothpaste tubes. They melt them down in a pot over a hibachi grill, pour the molten lead into plaster of Paris molds, and just start casting counterfeit lead nickels.
It's just the brilliant illustration of entrepreneurial spirit, even if it was highly illegal.
Just a little bit of a federal crime.
Just a light felony. But when the author's real dad explains what counterfeiting actually is, their dreams are obviously dashed. But the dad also points out something crucial. They actually took action.
Right.
Most people just talk about getting rich. These two 9-year-olds actually did something.
Which leads them to ask Mike's dad, the soon-to-be rich dad, to teach them how to make money legally. And his teaching method is, let's call it unconventional.
That's the one word for it.
He makes the boys work in one of his convenience stores, dusting canned goods in the sweltering Hawaiian heat for 10 cents an hour, 3 hours every Saturday.
Which, even in 1956 was a complete pittance. But the low pay is a totally calculated move.
Yeah, because after a few weeks, the author is furious. He feels exploited, he demands a raise, or he's going to quit. He marches in to confront the rich dad, and the rich dad essentially tells him that this anger, this intense frustration, is exactly what life feels like when you work for money.
It's a huge lesson.
And then he takes it a step further. He takes away the 10 cents an hour entirely. He tells the boys they have to work for free.
Right, because he's forcing a massive psychological break. As long as you expect a paycheck, your brain is entirely focused on the paycheck. You become an employee in your mind.
Your vision narrows.
Exactly. The moment you are working for free, your brain is forced to look for other opportunities to generate income. It shifts you from an employee mindset to an owner mindset.
And because they aren't getting paid, they suddenly notice something they'd been completely blind to before. The store manager is throwing away older comic books.
An opportunity.
So they negotiate to keep them, take them to a basement, and start a convict library. They charge kids in the neighborhood 10 cents admission to read all they want for 2 hours. They even hire Mike's sister to run it.
Outsourcing the labor.
Right. Suddenly, they are generating $9.50 a week, which is way more than the 30 cents they were making dusting cans. And they don't even have to be there.
They created a business that generated passive income, they stopped working for money, and they built a system where money worked for them. And the rich dad uses this to explain the two emotions that keep most people trapped in what he calls the rat race.
Fear and greed.
Exactly. Fear pushes people out the door to work, the fear of not paying bills, the fear of being fired. Then they get a paycheck, and desire or greed takes over.
They start thinking about all the things money can buy.
Right. They spend it, the fear returns, and the cycle continues. Unexamined emotion drives the entire process.
Okay, but hold on. I have to push back here a little.
Yeah.
Working for free on a 9-year-old is one thing, but adults have actual real-world bills.
Yeah.
Isn't a steady paycheck just a necessary reality? It feels a bit like a hamster wheel, yeah. No matter how fast your furry little legs spin, tomorrow morning you're still in the exact same cage. But you still need the water bottle in the cage to survive.
That is the reality for most people, yes. And the rich dad isn't suggesting you shouldn't pay your bills or hold a job initially.
Okay.
The core insight is that a job is usually a short-term solution to a long-term problem. Reacting emotionally to fear, just grabbing a job to soothe the panic of bills, it paralyzes your logical financial thinking.
It keeps you entirely reactive.
Yes. He argues that the absolute avoidance of money is just as destructive as an obsession with it. People who say, oh, I don't care about money, but they work 8 hours a day at a job they hate, they are living in deep denial.
Wow, yeah.
You have to step back, master those emotions, and actually think about how to build wealth independently of your physical labor.
So if a paycheck is the trap, what's the actual escape hatch? How do the wealthy mechanically separate their time from their money?
It comes down to a very simple rule.
The source boils this down to one brutally simple rule. The KISS principle. Keep it super simple. You absolutely must know the difference between an asset and a liability.
It sounds almost insultingly simple, I know. But the vast majority of financial struggle comes from people fundamentally misunderstanding this basic distinction.
How so?
Well, in the Rich Dad framework, an asset is something that puts money in your pocket. A liability is something that takes money out of your pocket. Period.
And this is where the source drops a bombshell that goes against everything we are traditionally taught. According to this rule, your house, your beautiful beloved home, the ultimate American dream, is a liability.
I can hear the shock from traditional homeowners right now.
Right. I mean, my house is a liability.
But let's look at the mechanics of it. If you own a house, it costs you money every single month. You have mortgage, property taxes, insurance, maintenance, maybe HOA fees. Cash flow tells the story, and the cash is flowing out of your pocket.
The author uses this brutal example of a young, highly educated, married couple. They move from a cramped apartment to a dream home. Now they have the mortgage. Then comes property tax. Then they buy new furniture to match the house.
Of course.
A new car for the new driveway. Suddenly, their liability column is exploding, but they think they're building wealth.
And this triggers a mechanism called bracket creep.
Why bracket creep? What exactly is that?
So as this couple works harder to afford their new lifestyle, their incomes go up. But as their income rises, they are pushed into a higher tax bracket.
Oh, I see.
This means every new dollar they earn is taxed more heavily by the government, effectively punishing them for working harder. Meanwhile, their expenses have also gone up proportionally to maintain the house and the cars.
So they're just running faster on the wheel.
Exactly. They work relentlessly, earn more, but never actually get ahead because the tax code is taking a bigger bite, and they are acquiring liabilities that they falsely believe are assets.
It's like building the Empire State Building on a 6-inch concrete slab. It might look incredibly impressive for a minute, but very quickly it turns into the Leaning Tower of suburbia.
That is precisely the danger. The foundation just can't support the weight. The middle class buys liabilities. The rich strictly buy income-generating assets. Stocks, bonds, income-generating real estate, promissory notes, intellectual property.
Anything that puts money into your pocket every month without your physical labor.
Exactly.
And to mind your own business means to focus entirely on that asset column. There's this incredible story in the text about Ray Kroc, the founder of McDonald's.
Oh, this is a great one.
He's speaking to a group of MBA students at the University of Texas. He asks them, "What business am I in?" Naturally, they all laugh and say, you're in the hamburger business.
And Kroc tells them, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not in the hamburger business. My business is real estate.
It's a massive paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Kroc knew the primary business was selling franchises, but the real wealth, the underlying asset, was the land and the location of each franchise.
Today, McDonald's is one of the largest single owners of real estate in the world.
He differentiated his profession, selling burgers, from his business, which was accumulating income-producing real estate.
That distinction between your profession and your business is huge. You can be a banker by profession, but if you don't own the bank, you still need your own business, meaning your own asset column.
But wait, once you actually start building this asset column, how do you keep the wealth you generate when taxes just seem to eat everything? The source gets into the history of taxes, and it completely shatters this Robin Hood myth most of us grew up with.
The history is incredibly revealing. Originally, in England and America, there were no permanent income taxes. They were only levied temporarily to pay for wars.
Right.
When permanent income taxes were finally introduced, like the 16th Amendment in the US in 1913, they were sold to the masses as a way to punish the rich.
The ultimate take from the rich and give to the poor political pitch.
The poor and middle class voted for it enthusiastically because they thought it would only hit the wealthy elites. But a government's appetite for money always grows. Inevitably, the tax burden trickled down to heavily penalize the very middle class who voted for it.
The rich didn't just sit there and take it, though. They found a legal vehicle to protect themselves, the corporation.
Many people have this mental image of a corporation as a giant glass building with a logo on it. But legally, a corporation is just a file folder sitting in an attorney's office. It's a legal entity that provides profound protection and mind-blowing tax benefits.
A way I like to think about a corporation is like a financial water filter.
Oh, I like that.
For an average employee, the government takes its bucket of water right from the tap. They take their taxes right out of your paycheck before you even see it. You get to live on whatever drops are left over.
Right.
But for corporation, the water flows through your filter first. You water your garden, wash your car, do your dishes, meaning you pay your expenses, and the government only gets to take a bucket from whatever trickles out the bottom.
That is an excellent analogy. The formula difference is staggering. Employees earn, pay taxes first, and spend what's left. Business owners with corporations earn, spend everything they legally can on pre-tax expenses, and then pay taxes on whatever is left over.
So here's where it gets really interesting, because it sounds like the rich have a legal cheat code.
I wouldn't call it a cheat code. It's really financial IQ at work. It's the synergy of accounting, investing, understanding markets, and the law.
The source also talks about inventing money, which really sounds like magic. There's this wild anecdote about a house in a depressed real estate market, and I got completely lost in the numbers.
Let's break it down.
Okay, so the author finds a house worth $75,000, buys it at a bankruptcy office for $20,000, borrowing $2,000 from a friend for the down payment. Then he immediately runs an ad selling it for $60,000 with no money down, and he walks away with an infinite return on investment. How does that mechanism actually work?
It is a brilliant example of that financial IQ. He buys the house cheap because of the bankruptcy. Then he resells it for $60,000 to a new buyer. But because he's offering it with no money down, the buyer doesn't go to a traditional bank for a mortgage.
Oh, yep.
Instead, the author creates a $40,000 promissory note.
A promissory note? Wait, what does that mean in this context?
A promissory note basically means the author became the bank.
Oh, wow.
The new buyer signs a legal document promising to pay the author a monthly mortgage with 10% interest on that $40,000. The author uses the initial payments to pay back the $2,000 he borrowed from his friend.
So he's cleared his initial debt.
Exactly. Once that friend is paid back, the author has absolutely none of his own money left in the deal. Yet he has a legally binding document, an asset, paying him every single month. He created a cash-flowing asset out of thin air using only his financial knowledge.
That is wild. He saw a $40,000 spread where others just saw a depressed economy.
It illustrates a concept the rich dad hammered into the boys. Money is not real. It is an agreement. It is an illusion held together by confidence. The rich simply see opportunities with their minds that others miss with their eyes.
That's a powerful way to put it.
When you combine accounting, investing, markets, and the law, you can do things that seem impossible to the average person.
Okay, but if the math is fifth grade level, income minus expenses, and the legal structures like corporations are accessible to anyone, why isn't everyone rich?
That's the big question.
The final hurdle outlined in the text isn't technical at all. It's entirely psychological. There are 5 specific roadblocks that stop even financially literate people from building abundant asset columns: fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, and arrogance.
Let's look at fear. The source talks about the Alamo or the Texan mindset. Everyone wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Everyone wants to be rich, but nobody wants to risk losing money. But it's how you handle failure that defines you. Texans don't bury their failures, they make them rallying cries. The Alamo was a devastating military defeat, but it became a legendary inspiration.
For winners, losing inspires them to practice harder, to learn more.
Yes. For losers, losing defeats them. If you are terrified of taking a risk, you will play it safe. And playing it safe usually means staying poor.
Then there's cynicism, which the author calls the Chicken Little complex. The sky is falling. Or in real estate terms, I don't want to fix toilets. People let their doubts and the noise around them paralyze them.
Unchecked doubt creates a cynic. And as the rich dad said, cynics criticize and winners analyze.
I love that quote.
The cynic focuses on the broken toilet and walks away from a lucrative deal. The winner analyzes the situation, realizes the cash flow is strong enough to hire a great property manager to fix the toilets, and keeps the profits.
Now, the third roadblock is laziness. And the cure, the source suggests, really threw me. It says the cure for laziness is a healthy dose of greed. We are taught our entire lives that greed is a terrible, destructive thing.
This is a profound psychological breakthrough in the text, and it's worth exploring deeply. We have to look at how we define those words. The rich dad reframes greed as desire.
Okay.
The fundamental biological human drive for a better life. Think about it. The most common form of laziness isn't sitting on the couch watching TV. The most common form of laziness is actually staying busy.
Wait, really?
Yes, people stay busy at work, staying late at the office, specifically to avoid confronting their terrifying financial reality.
They use busy work to hide from the fact that they are drowning in debt.
Precisely. And when they think about wanting more, guilt shuts down their ambition. Society tells them it's wrong to want to be wealthy, but tapping into a controlled sense of what's in it for me, asking how can I afford to never work again, is the antidote to that apathy.
You need a little bit of that raw desire to force yourself to get off the couch, confront your financial reality, and actually build your asset column.
Exactly. Desire over guilt.
That reframing makes so much sense. Now, the fourth roadblock is bad habits. And the biggest bad habit is paying everyone else first and yourself last. The rule here is pay yourself first.
If you pay your bills first, you only invest what's left over, which is usually nothing.
Right.
The rich dad taught that you must allocate money to your asset column first, before the mortgage, before the utility bills.
But what if you don't have enough to pay your bills? If the creditors are screaming at you, doesn't paying yourself first just ruin your credit and invite lawsuits?
That is the exact mechanism that makes it work.
Wow.
You still pay yourself first. By doing so, you create immense internal pressure. The creditors and the taxman will scream at you. But instead of dipping into your savings to pay them, you let that intense pressure force your financial genius to wake up. It motivates you to figure out new, creative ways to generate extra income to pay those aggressive creditors. It's like lifting weights. The pressure builds financial muscle.
That takes some serious guts. I can feel my heart rate rising just thinking about doing that.
It's definitely not for the faint of heart.
The final roadblock is arrogance. The author states, what I know makes me money. What I don't know loses me money. Arrogance is just using ego to hide ignorance.
And this ties into a crucial concept in the book, working to learn. There is a compelling story about a talented journalist in Singapore. She has a master's in English literature, she writes beautifully, but she is incredibly frustrated that she isn't getting anywhere financially.
The author tells her to go take a sales training course, and she is highly offended.
Oh, extremely offended.
She's a professional with a master's degree. She hates salespeople.
But the author points out a hard truth. He shows her his own book cover and says, it says best-selling author, not best-writing author.
Oh, that stings.
He openly admits he's a mediocre writer, but he went to sales school. She was trapped by the arrogance of her own specialization.
She was literally just one skill away from great wealth. If she combined her incredible writing talent with the mechanics of sales and marketing, her income would explode.
Exactly.
The poor dad believed in job security and deep specialization. The rich dad believed in knowing a little about a lot.
The danger of overspecialization is that your skills might only be valuable in one specific industry. If that industry changes or technology disrupts it, you are incredibly vulnerable.
Which is happening all the time now.
Constantly. That's why the rich dad constantly moved his son around different departments. Accounting, sales, marketing, to understand the entire business system, you work to learn new skills, not just to earn a paycheck.
It fundamentally changes how you look at your daily job.
It really does.
So bringing it all together, the foundation of wealth truly is financial literacy. It's knowing the difference between working for a paycheck and building an asset column. To formalize that, the source breaks down income into 3 specific types.
Right, the 3 types.
There is earned income, that's the paycheck you get from your daily job. There is portfolio income, that comes from paper assets like stocks and bonds. And there's passive income, which comes from real estate, promissory notes, or a business you own but don't have to physically work at.
The ultimate goal of an investor, the mechanical path to financial freedom, is to take that earned income and convert it into portfolio and passive income as quickly and efficiently as possible. That is how you step off the hamster wheel.
Which brings us back to where we started. The realization that money isn't just paper and coins, it's a mindset.
Absolutely.
The source material insists that money is essentially made up. It's just an idea, an illusion held together by confidence. So for you listening, we want to leave you with this provocative thought. If money is just an idea, what outdated ideas are you currently allowing to dictate the limits of your life?
That's a great question. Are you telling yourself I can't afford it, putting your brain to sleep? Or are you willing to ask how can I afford it and force your mind to find a solution?
Are you looking at a clean, comforting X-ray of a steady paycheck? Or are you willing to step into the murky, challenging waters of building your own asset column? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and we'll see you next time.